I think a lot of things that we learn is like, oh my God, that's so simple, but we don't do it in simple terms. Welcome everybody back to the Rally Cry podcast. My name is Angel.
And my name is Tyler.
And you guys are here because you know you won't get dumber by the second as we try to heal and grow. And by the way, if you guys don't know, wellness actually means healing. So that's what we're trying to do, but make sure that we have a cure for it too, so that we make sure that we're growing on a good foot.
And hopefully they find the cure like we did, because we are still looking for the cure for cancer, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but anyways, continue.
We got a lot of conspiracies, but who knows? But also, make sure you guys follow us on your favorite platform of a podcast. You can follow us on Instagram as well at therallycry.podcast, where we just have some clips, stuff like that. Go follow us on there, and let's just get right into the episode. And I know you guys are here. Why? Because you want to know about quick ways to effectively manage stress and anxiety. You know, that is something that we really are dealing with every day. Like, we wake up, we feel anxious, and there's so many things that we should make sure that we don't do. So we're going to talk about a couple of things, but I just thought there was something that was interesting as I was doing some research. There was something that that kind of cued out to me. So here's a science fact, right? Your eyes do something we aren't aware of. They both go like back and forth, and they try to detect what's ahead of you, which like quiets the brain's like amygdala. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Amygdala, right? Which is your brain's threat detection center. So you automatically, like when you go in for a walk, it was a psychologist that found out about it in 1987, right? And it was just crazy how she kind of thought about this when she was in the park. We naturally look for danger. So that's just absolutely crazy. And I was just like, wow, our brain really does things subconsciously.
Yeah, and in cognitive psychology, I learned that, you know, our brain wants to do everything that it could to protect us and keep us within our best safety. But at the same time, though, did you know that we look in past tense?
What do you mean, though?
Like, we look in past tense, so our brain captures everything within our eyes, our retina, right? And it captures everything in frames. So since it's capturing everything in frames, we've already acknowledged everything that's around us, but it takes our actual brain, or no, our mind, to process everything for what it is. Like, you can acknowledge, okay, I see those shoes over there, and that couple over there doesn't look too creepy. And then, okay, that guy doesn't seem too creepy. He looks straight. His outfit is clean, and everything like that. So you're already acknowledging everything past tense. So it's like we're kind of like reading into the future, but then also reading into the past at the same time while being in the present. So isn't that funny how everything works in chronological order?
Yes.
Like
oh my God, that's so much like in social psychology that I learned too. So that's crazy. And the crazy thing is, right, there's a therapy that is called the eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, which is called EMDR. It was discovered in 1987, as I've mentioned, by the psychologist for the treatment of post-stress disorder, PTSD, and is guided by the adaptive information processing model. EMDR is an individual therapy that typically is delivered 1 to 2 times per week for a total of 6 to 12 sessions. And although there is other people that don't need as much sessions to do this kind of therapy, it's still the fact that if it's being conducted in consecutive amounts of days, it's a way of healing someone with PTSD by only doing a kind of procedure like this, right? So if you guys want, you could put your left arm and your right arm, just put a finger up, right? Just put your front finger up and put it at like shoulders width. And all you have to do is look left to right, like every second. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and just keep going back and forth and looking at the tip of your finger. And what it does, it kind of like resets your mind from anxiety and stress. And so people that have PTSD, they do this kind of therapy so that it kind of like resets their brain. And it's a therapy that was actually conducted.
And it's interesting how you say it resets the brain, because I learned that, like, you know, when we go to a cologne store and we're smelling perfumes and everything like that, we know that it's strong. And it's like when we go to smell another one, it's like, did we really get the previous one out of our nose? Did you know that we need to smell coffee beans before every scent? So like, so it's like how it resets everything. So I like how you brought that up. It made me think of that.
And that's an actual great example, because that's exactly how you want to look at it. Is that it's just that kind of reset. And if you do it more than once, it's definitely going to help you. And it was almost to think of, like, we sometimes think that when we look at other people failing in something, we think that we're more likely to fail, right?
Right.
So it's almost going back to saying how, like, we're always looking out for danger. That's why it stresses you out, because when you go outside in the park, you're always trying to make sure like nothing is like suspicious. Like you was mentioning, oh, this guy looks fine. Oh, this one doesn't look creepy or anything like that. We're always looking out for danger, but we're always looking for the con of things. Then we're only gonna expect that, and that's what gets us stressed out.
And another thing too that goes with that is like, if we can acknowledge the cons all the time, if we're always looking for danger, then that means we should know how to be prepared for danger. So that way we're not so scared and we're not so filled with anxiety and anxiousness, because then we end up tightening up. Then we end up hesitating. Yeah. Then we end up second guessing. And it's like, should I do this? Am I walking the right way? Am I looking at this person too much? Like, then we start, why are we doubting ourselves? We are in full control of what we do. Why are we adding more pressure to what we naturally do already?
Exactly. No, that is valid enough. And that's why it's important to talk about ways of managing it. And there's certain things that we can do, right?
Right.
So when we're talking about danger and things, how it's stressing us out, okay, we don't want to get stressed out. So one thing we may have heard plenty of times, but is like we feel like we don't have time for it, right? And that's called meditation. We heard it before.
Oh, yeah.
I heard that one.
I heard meditation, bro. I meditate.
That's so cliche. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
but
bro, I surf, bro, and I meditate.
Totally gnarled it. So meditation brings short-term effects of relieving stress, but it can also do a long-term when it's done effectively.
Yeah.
So people think that, if I meditate one day, I'm going to feel better. Yes, you might feel better for that day, but for you to not keep doing it consecutively, like let's say going to the gym, right? People always do that all the time, but we don't try to work on our mental health, right? We like, okay, it's cool to go to the gym. In a sense, you could say, like, well, going to the gym is a mental health kind of thing. Yeah, it takes some mental effort, but it's not doing much to your mental health, because you what you're doing is you're giving yourself discipline when it comes to going to the gym, right? And doing anything else that you don't want to do, so you can get a benefit out of something.
And the thing is, too, I like how you bring that up, because you got to practice what you preach. You're not going to take advice or think that, you're of someone of stature to explain something where you don't really, you don't take your own advice. So if you don't go to the gym all the time, but you're trying to tell somebody how to do this set, it's like, do you go to the gym enough to know how to properly do this set?
That's valid enough.
So it's like, without the experience and without the consistency and the punctuality that comes with it, like, you have to show up and you have to do it every time, because as you mentioned before, we can't say that we're meditating. We meditate, but we're not meditating.
Yes.
Because to try to master meditating, it takes practice. Like, the monks take years trying to develop, like, self-enlightenment. Yeah. And think about how long that takes. Like, it doesn't happen like that.
Right. And that's why meditation is important. And anything that we do, both our mind and body are both connected. Right. So when you're stressed, it all starts with breath.
Yes.
So there's actually 3 types of meditation, and I honestly learned them because of, Jay Shetty. I love Jay Shetty. That's my guy. It would be so awesome.
I think you need to meet him again, man.
I met him once when I went to his tour, and it was great. Definitely humbling experience. I think I've talked about that, but yeah.
He's geeked.
Yeah. Oh my God, stop. But so there's breath work, visualization, and then mantras. So we're gonna get into them.
Okay.
First one, I think it's good to start from there. If I'm correct, I agree with this. I would say breath work, visualization, mantra. So with breath work, one thing you can do is breathing 4 seconds. Let's do it right now. 4 seconds in and then 4 seconds out. So ready? Let's do it again. That felt good.
And you could even do it for longer. Like, based on how your lungs are, because if you're taking care of your lungs, you could do it for a while.
Yeah.
And there's even one that's called the fire breathing technique, where you you do it with your nose and you hold it like this, and you just do it repeatedly, and that one wakes you up.
Yo, for
that
real.
wakes you up.
Yeah, there's that one, and there's obviously you could do a slower pace if you want to relax. Let's say going to sleep. That if you do it slower, like for longer reps rather than 4 seconds, it would like calm you down a little bit more. But then there's another one that you breathe in through one nostril like a. And then you breathe out the other nostril, and you just keep alternating. So you breathe out that other nostril, and then you breathe in through that same one, and then you switch to breathe out, and you just keep doing that, and that's a way to like kind of like balance yourself. Yeah, like it's a sense of balance.
Get the blood flow going in the right areas, because
basically
when like if we're upset or we're angry, we're not even breathing, so now we don't got oxygen going to the brain.
Yeah,
and now the blood is starting to thicken because it's starting to heat up and warm up and sizzle. So it's like
Yeah.
Right.
And if you think about it too, like if you're using one nostril, it's like one side of your body's doing a little bit more of the work because it's not using all your muscles in that area. Because we use so many muscles when we smile. So imagine everything else that we use. So
you're bringing all your attention to like one area, and then all right, let me bring my attention back to this area. So you're constantly focusing, realigning your focus in different areas, so that way you can become more conscious of like where you're at with your body.
Your body works so well with your mind. Like, you know, a side note, when I hurt my lower back, like I'll sit in the car and you think it's you don't need your back for this, but I'll turn my neck left or right, and I'll feel it all in my lower back. I'm like, bro, damn, if I didn't have a back, you can't do it.
Bro, I don't think you'd be able to function, man. Like,
my point, though. So
I'm not going to lie. Oh, man.
Mind and body is just that's the same sense. They both work. So everything that is within your body works together. So what makes you think your mind don't work with your body, right?
Yep.
So the next one is visualization. And with visualization meditation, it's kind of just like imagining a safe place. Like you can create it, use your imagination, like whatever you got to create. Like I like saying that I'm in a park. I put a little bench right there with the sunset. I like sunsets. You know, it's a nice breeze outside, and I just imagine that. And when you can imagine that safe place, it puts you in this relief of stress of where you're at right now. It's just for the moment. That's the whole point. So we're trying to just have like a little exit route. Not to say that we should be there forever, but just for a moment to walk away from something that's stressing.
Yeah, and it's like an escape. And also too, like if you struggle with visualization, one thing that helps is guided meditation, right? So with guided meditation, you know, they're just guiding you. You know, you hear these natural sounds. So like, let's say you're at a beach. Let's say you hear the trees rustling with the leaves and everything. You know, that would help you develop some kind of scenario.
You go like this and... Yo,
no, and that's what they
funny
do.
Though.
And it's so silent, but then it's peaceful at the same time. And that guidance helps you. Like, okay, like this person is telling me what to do, and I'm just listening to them. I'm just here laying down.
Oh no, they be having stuff like that.
Sounds so hilarious.
It's just funny, honestly. But hey, people, if it works out for you, that you know, that's something that can be a form of meditation. There's so many things that you can do.
Right.
So however you want to set yourself up is even like if you want to see yourself accomplishing something. Like for me, I'm working on flexibility, so I'm visualizing myself to be flexible and all those things. So kind of doing that, right? Then the other one, the last one, will be mantras. And as I said, there's so many, but this one also especially is kind of giving yourself some form of encouragement. And then it gives like a way of self-esteem. Because you're kind of just saying certain words. Like I like saying it for myself. So you could be like, I am love. I am rejuvenated. I am capable. I am focused. I am caring. I am enough. With the fist shaking. Like, I am worth it. So, worthy. Like if you there's so many things that you can say for mantras.
Yeah.
So if you can have a couple words that, you know, correlate for who you are and what you feel, just be like, close your eyes, take those, do that breath work, do that mantra, and then do that visualization. Just do it all at once. Like I like to have a couple minutes for each one. But whatever you need in that moment is okay.
Right.
And you had, like you said, you had to practice it.
Yep. So and I like how you bring up mantras because this goes all the way back to what we've been saying from the beginning. Our words matter. Our words have power, just like the stars got a lot of power. You know, so if we don't acknowledge what we're saying, because like, it's like, oh, I hate this about myself. So like you're only convincing yourself more and more why you shouldn't like this about you, and then it's like, why should you not like that about yourself? Like you are capable of this for a certain reason. And if you don't like that, and if it's something that could be interchanged for something else, you know, change it. You know, don't like just express. I mean, hey, you're acknowledging it, but don't just, you know, complain about it.
Yeah. There was a guy that I ran into. His name is Myron Golden.
Okay.
And he said one thing that I totally agree with, and I kind of say it all the time, but he said it in such a good way. And he said, when you change what you say, it will change what you see. So when you're giving yourself those mantras, is a way of telling yourself in ways what you could then see. So that's the whole point of it.
Right.
Then we already know, we talked a little bit about it, but you know how our body is connected with our mind. So working with your body, like yoga, stretching, going to the gym is those things. When you tend to use more excess energy, you know, sometimes that could be a sense of discipline. Right. So like, you know, you going to the gym is good, like we were talking about, but like not in a way where like too much. Because I think when you're doing certain things that are relaxing, it would be better. But it's not also to say when you go to the gym, the reason why people say it's good for your mental health is because you're so disciplined to do something that works better for yourself.
Yeah, and like you're so focused on doing exactly that. That's all your mind is focused on. Yes. So like you don't have you know, I'm not saying you wouldn't have the time, but like, why would you invest more time to allow your mind to wander elsewhere and you're supposed to be focusing on working out? That's going to lead to you taking constant breaks, which is going to mess up with the blood flow that you're going to need to keep on pumping those muscles. Right. And it kind of goes with how actually dishwashing or even doing laundry is considered one of the relaxing coping mechanisms to deal with stress and anxiety.
Really?
Yes.
That's so interesting. It makes sense, though. I'll be washing the dishes and I'll be in it, especially if I have music.
And you got to think about it, too, right? So, look, let's say you got the music, too. So, let's say you add the music. That's just an additive that's not going to be guaranteed all the time. Right? But at the same time, though, when you're doing dishes, you're just focused on the dishes. You're just like, okay, I need to, like, make sure this gets off. And, okay, I know that had grease on it. So, I know I should scrub this a little bit harder, use this sponge instead because it got a harder surface. So, when your mind is just focused on that, it kind of allows you to become more conscious of, like, why was I mad? Because, like, if my mind was able to fleet away that well and I could forget about it and now, like, I'm at peace, at least to the extent where that's not bothering me, then it's like we could take more time to indulge in more
working with it's like segments.
Yeah, working in segments. Yeah, because like if you just stay stuck in a segment and you're letting it, you're creating a burden after that because now it's going to migrate into all of your segments, and now every segment isn't going to be that genuine segment for what it is.
Right. And, you know, there's a side note, too, like, if you're washing dishes, let's say, in the sense, like, what happens with music is, like, yeah, it's a form of therapy, but I say to a degree because, like, you could listen to one song and then listen to another, and they, like, kind of sway your emotion. Like, one could sound, like, more loving, and the other one's more uplifting and saying F that and stuff because there'd be music like that nowadays. So.
Matter of fact, you know what? I'm glad you bring that up because since I love music so much, let me tell you guys, one issue that I have, I love me pop, I love me some R&B, but one thing I don't get, when it's that depressing R&B, it be hitting, and I'm like, I'm not even crying, like, I'm like, why is the song hit right now? Like, the vocals, cadence, harmonies, the 808s, like, I don't know what, like, there was a song I heard yesterday, I'm like, I should be sad right now, but I'm happy. Like, am I happy that this person's sad? You know what I mean? So it's weird how certain things work. But hey, we're alive.
Yeah. So then there's one more thing that we kind of all know in a sense,
right?
But I think we do it so often we don't think it helps, because it's like it's just been a habit that we do it and we don't think much of it. Like I think a lot of things that we learn is like, oh my god, that's so simple, but we don't do it in simple terms. So it's going for a walk in nature. Because you could go for a walk, but you don't want to go walk. You don't want to go for a walk in the mall. That's not calming. It's like it's tempting me. I'm about to see something. I'm like, oh, that looks pretty dope.
Yeah, trying to like
stress me out.
If you're having a bad day and like, you know what, I need to go for a walk. Let me go to the mall. You want to go to the mall of all places? Then then you're going to convince yourself and be like, you know what? Matter of fact, instead of walking, I needed some retail therapy anyways. Like now you just persuaded yourself to spend money that you didn't intend on spending, and you did it when you weren't even in the right state of mind.
That's valid enough. So yeah, don't do that. Yeah. So the more we're disconnected from nature, the more we're disconnected from ourselves. So I think as a straightforward go and walk for is, I got some research right here. So research found that walking-based exercise training alleviated anxiety and depression in adults, and moderate and intense walking exercise promoted lower blood pressure and improved mental health by reducing negative emotions. Yeah, I know, right?
Okay, good timing.
Oh.
Yeah, second episode. Yeah, I'm on that.
All right, bet.
I'm on that.
All right. In addition, in individuals who generally prefer more casual forms of exercise, such as walking, increasing walking during leisure time can reduce the generation of negative emotions. In a study by Wensley and Slade, walking increased well-being by making participants feel more relaxed.
And why do you think? I really genuinely believe that a lot of the most well in tune people, like within themselves, those are people that go on marathons and walk and speed walk. Yeah. You got to think about it, the kind of commitment that it takes to walk for 10 miles, or even especially the ones that jog or run for 10 miles.
Right.
Or it's even 10K, a 10K marathon.
I know.
Imagine that. Yo. So it's like, think about how at peace you got to be with yourself, how in tune with your body, because physically you got to go to the gym, breath work,
pacing yourself,
taking breaks and everything like that. You got to be fully aligned with yourself. And this goes to show when you take the time, breathe, be patient, let everything go for what it is. Don't overdo it. Don't overexert yourself. That's natural. We are nature. We are part of nature.
Yes.
So let's be natural.
Exactly. And I think, it's to really say that our brains are like it's a machine.
Yes.
Right? So it keeps is always moving. So that means it's a mobile instrument.
Yep.
So if we are mobile walking, that means it's gonna all like cognitively like work together because you're working in motion with your brain. So that's why when you go for walks, you be having these deep thoughts and you be thinking for yourself and all those things. And a lot of times we don't like being our thoughts, but sometimes going inside our thoughts and try to solve them and know how to manage them and file them, it's a good way to relieve stress and anxiety.
Yeah, and also, by the way, they say you could, when it comes to walking, if you were to walk barefoot, you're more connected to the earth. So let's say if you were to be walking in the park and you want to go walk in the park, walk through some grass.
Yeah.
And just walk in grass. And, like, it sounds weird. It sounds funky, but you got to think about how a lot of things that are, like, actually good for us are, like, basically, like, thrown to the trash. Like, yeah, don't do this. But then it's like, you should be doing this.
Yeah, I think that's a good way. I kind of agree with that. At first, I was like, yeah, no, on concrete.
Yeah, like on a summer day, like
that's not even earth, by the way. So
like,
just
there's
additives in there and all that. No.
No. We don't need cement. We need grass. We need dirt. We need worms. We need all that.
Just make sure it's a nice place, like a Was it a reservation?
A reservoir.
A reservoir. Yeah. So go there. It's more clear there.
And you heard the accent, the reservoir.
The reservoir. I like that.
The reservoir.
Yeah, so I think that was a good way to talk about quick ways to relieve stress and anxiety. We try to be quick with this episode. So that's pretty much it for that. I just also want to give one more tip for you guys before we go.
Yep.
And when we wake up, the first thing that you do is what matters to the whole day. So I would encourage that when you wake up, you do not look at your phone. Give yourself at least 5 minutes. At least go brush your teeth. At least get up and make your bed. Do something, because when you open your phone, this is something I've heard from Jay Shetty as well, so I'm just going to give him the credit for that, but I totally agree. When you open your phone, you're allowing basically 100 people in your room. Like, you're seeing what people are talking about on social media and all those things. So, like, if you wouldn't allow 100 people in your room, then why just open up your phone and allow all those negativity, all these perspectives that could probably ruin your day? You're going to start your day that way.
You're going to start your day overstimulated. Then you're going to wonder why, like, why am I socially drained right now?
Exactly.
Like, I'm normally outgoing, and it's like I already feel like my day should be over.
Yeah, because of what was the first thing that you ran into. So I encourage you guys to not go on your phone and give yourself a break. You need to learn how to just have a social recharge and actually unplug yourself from society and the modern day things.
And this quote for the episode: "The simplicities will solve the most complexities." That's the quote.
That was cute.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, man. On that note, you guys be easy.
Yeah, y'all be breezy.
Peace.
Love y'all.